You have now entered the championship mindset. I want you to join us on a journey of excellence, let go of your fears, and reach the best you. That's what we're doing on a daily basis, and that's the championship mindset. That's the essence. Welcome back to Championship Culture. I've been having a blast talking to you guys every week. I am really learning as much as I hope I'm imparting. And, I want to jump a little bit as far as topics into realms of creativity. Our conversations tend to be very concrete, about sports and office dynamics, maybe even like relationships and communication, where the idea is to be very effective and to have these foundational principles understood and applied in order to be effective and efficient. And it sounds real like, bureaucratic and very necessary for success. But I want to talk a little bit about the importance of imagination and creativity in a championship culture, on a pathway to fulfillment. Remember that the championship culture was never designed to win in sports. The idea is that if you have a winning culture and you learn that through platforms like sports or ventures where excellence is an expectation, that you can take that into your personal life, that you can find passion and motivation in your personal lives, and that your success in those passions and motivations using the same fundamentals that will make you successful, at work or in a profession or in a communication. Those things will lead to grand experiences for you. They'll lead to these moments of joy and achievement, and you will spread that feeling, that aura around. You'll make stronger communities and families and people that come into contact with you. It's something the world needs, and really where when those things come into alignment and you're able to achieve in realms of creativity and realms of writing, and you see, a lot of coaches will write a book and share their experiences of success on the field or on the court, and they'll write it in a creative expression or an effective expression of that wisdom. You'll have an artist who has a vision and their ability to apply those same fundamentals, those characteristics of skill development. They can express an idea in a way that inspires, the world. I was going to say worlds, and that's really, really what I mean. Worlds, these imaginations that lie within us, which are worlds within themselves, and to have those worlds inspired and sparked, and to have people that can see a work of art, a production, a performance, and go from, pain to joy, from depression to inspiration. And the only thing that was the modem of that was somebody's intention to express a feeling and to have it be viewed and interpreted with no power really to how it's going to be viewed or interpreted, but putting that out there in the world and sharing, sharing that wonder. So imagination and creativity become the most important things that we do. If the goal is just to work and die, I don't think we would position ourselves as being anything more than mechanical. Maybe we may be, the same as any other animal, but I think there's a spark and a sparkling in us and a power and our ability to create that does separate us. It does elevate us. And I'm not I'm not trying to elevate or really say we're any more important than any other aspects of nature, because there is a unity and a harmony in us and our connection to all things. But we are doing this. We are living, and we are manipulating. We are trying to figure out ways to tell you, like, hey, are we sharing the same experience? I'm understanding this world this way. How are you understanding it? Are these things congruent? Are these relationships true? Is our perspective real? And can we agree on that? And if we don't agree on that, are we elevating or deteriorating that experience? Imagination is what takes us there. Imagination and creativity is what is either elevating us or diminishing us. Creativity is what separates us from the animals, or at least the ones that we tend to not be kind of experiencing these higher functions, and our ignorance in that realm is very profound. We're finding that plants and birds and these different animals have ways of expressing themselves and decision making, and even creativity in their own rights. But man, is that something that keeps me in awe, is the type of art and creativity that people can develop. So I think we're going to talk a little bit about art today, and writing, and some of the things that I do beyond just championship culture are in publishing and producing. And I write and create comic books. I write self-help books and create journals. And now these are things that bring me fulfillment to wonder if like my thoughts, how they're going to be taken once I express them. And I found it so empowering to write a narrative or a story, and to have like a beta reader, scan through it and give me their feedback, and whether they, whether they got what I delivered. Was it effective? Did they go through the feelings that I wanted, to impart? Did they catch the Easter egg? All these are very fun, interactive dynamics that are shared through creativity. You can share them through work. So these experiences, like I said, are not mutually exclusive. But if you are going to work every day and you're not bringing creativity, how are you elevating yourself? If you are, doing anything and you're not trying to find the art in it, the efficiency, elevate the skill of creating whatever that is, are you really finding joy in doing it? Is it just a monotonous dumbing down of yourself in order to make a buck, in order to pass time? Or are you so completely unintentional that you're, again, what's separating us from just animals that are going about their daily, operations, is this ability for humans to stop and pause for a second, and to listen, and to see beauty in the world, and for that to be of value, and for the sake of itself, to just stop and recognize its creation. Those are the things that make your stomach flutter, and your mind just like, really start to understand reality is only when you imagine. That's the only thing that really can capture the depth of it, is imagination. So if you're not in the process of exploring imagination and creativity, then how are you leading people? If you're not engendering that in others, which means you have to kind of have that ability to engender it in yourself. How are you motivating people? How are you helping people find their passions? Because it has to go beyond just the thing that you're doing. You can be a cook, and you can cook to make a meal, or you can cook to serve. And you can do it so well that it has reached an art form. And when somebody eats a meal that is cooked with art and passion, can change your whole day. You drive miles for that barbecue, or that experience of somebody who put that much time and effort into your breakfast. You feel served. You feel as if that person has elevated you just by your seeing that thing, or you're experiencing that thing. What else can do that for a person and in this world but creativity and imagination? So I think it's a search for this space in the concrete that is more nebulous, and it definitely grants a show, a segment to like, well, how do you find, why is that thing important? What is art? Can I define it? I just finished, and you're gonna see me working with the artist panel and a group of creatives that come together. I can't wait till some of our stuff drops, but we talk a lot about these topics. What is art? What does it mean to be an artist? How do you find creativity, passion? How do you find the business sense to be successful as an artist? And I think you start with like, what is art? It can be anything. It's very low bar of definition, and it can be as high a range as some of the the great Renaissance paintings and realism and sculptures that you're like, it might as well have been done by a 3D printer. It's such a high quality. It took such skill. And it leads me to a place of like, can I be that great? Can I do something? Is the idea I have it in my head, can I do it to such a level where people have that similar experience with what I thought, with what I felt, with what I interpreted of the world? And how necessary I think that is, that to tell you how necessary that story, that creative thing you want to put on a canvas, how you want to have a different approach to your profession and make it more artful, and to increase the service that's delivered to the person that experiences that, and leave that joy in the world. That's what it is art is joy. Art is life. It doesn't mean it's always like going to feel good. Yeah, art can be pain too. So I guess art can be joy and pain, any range of emotions that is expressed to another. And the skill and dedication and the alignment that the creator has to do it effectively, the time and the patience and the process that it takes to get that idea across effectively. That's what an art form is. So I can be a football coach, and I think I have gotten it to the tune of being an art form, how I communicate with players, how the fundamentals and the stages of fundamentals and drills that we do, and how I can gather attention quickly, how I can get a concept across effectively. I got it down to an art form. If you go out there and watch me in my element, you'll see that there's a process and an intention behind it. I think art to be an artist, there has to be some intention behind it. Even if there's a randomness, or you splatter and you don't know where paint's gonna go, or you spin the wheel and you don't know what type of spatial elements are going to be presented beforehand. There still has to be some intention behind art. I've had people say like art is life, and I agree. I've heard people say football is life or chess is life, and I think all those things can be true, because I think life is about creativity. No one can tell you how to do this. So you inherently have to be creative. There are processes, yeah, we have natures, but I don't, our base natures, I don't think are the things that make us human when we're talking about, the elevated sense of self and achievement and success and fulfillment and legacy, growth. We're talking about higher order elements of our humanity. We're talking about intelligence. We're talking about cognition, senses, sensibilities, and these different dimensions that you can be interacting with life on. What sense are you going to make of it? That's the creativity. You have to be creative. Everyone is creative with the decisions they're making based on the input that's going on around them. That's where the creativity starts, is you just waking up. What kind of decisions am I going to make? Are those things that are just socially, driven? Am I only making the decisions that have been placed upon me lacking creativity? So I'm going to go to work lacking creativity, inspiration, passion, just to do a thing. I'm going to go home and, those processes are no different from work. If I do homework, I'm very much detached, right? I'm being the person I'm supposed to be, for my kids, for my wife, for my, my in-laws, my parents, my family, always doing the thing that's expected. Where's the creativity? Where's the hey, what do I want to see out of this? Boom, that's the creativity. That's where it starts. Everybody's got that. So people say, I'm not creative. I don't have, an art no, you don't have the skill. You have an art. You have creativity in you, and it needs to come out, because when you stifle and you hold that in, that is the depression. That is the anxiety. These things are not, we create these things and these stagnations in our flow, just like blood circulates, just like air, circulates, and the food, the energy. So you have a creative, expressive system, as just like your cardiovascular system. There's a creativity in you that needs to come out, and you need outlets for it. You need to feed it. You need to cultivate it. You need to protect it. You need to find it. And, one thing that, and I think this is so important, and we're talking about creativity, but we're talking about championship culture. How do those things align? Well, you have to learn it. You have to learn that it's, how to express that in you, how to find that in you. It has to be validated. So this championship culture, that it's not just, hey, I'm going to win the game. It's, hey, I'm part of a team. I don't know if this team is going to win the championship. Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson, they're in the league 20. Michael Jordan has 6 rings. They are seasons where Michael Jordan was not the champion. You're going to tell me that he's, not in a complete embodiment of the championship culture? No, those things are not mutually exclusive. We got to stop playing zero-sum games. It's antithetical to game theory. Progress, growth, little moments, little experiences of joy that stack and stack and stack, so that when you have these pitfalls, you're not always going back down to zero. You got to stay in this drive, stay in this game. I'm learning. I'm fighting my passions. I'm fighting my motivations. I'm fighting mentors. I'm finding models of success. When I falter, I take a step, but I'm going to stay in the work. I think Marcus Aurelius, he said, success is not like a dance. It's like a wrestling match. There's always going to be this jogging, this pushing and pulling, and you're going to have to fight for creative spaces just like you fight for everything else in your life. You're going to have to fight to find, what are these feelings that I'm having? How do I express it? through poetry, through music, through drawing, through dance, any number of ways, through cooking, through the way that I coach football, through the way that I elevate my knowledge of tech, and I'm able to build things. All these things can be art forms and aspects of expression that you need to explore as a champion. If I'm coaching a football player, I'm telling him to be more than a football player. If I'm teaching a student, I'm imploring that they be more mindful of the world than just math or English. There's a worldliness, a renaissance of subjects that allow you to place yourself, to find this flow, to understand the world and the things all around you, to express it with confidence, with gusto, and ultimately to change somebody else's experience for the better. Because we have had that happen to us. I hope that for you. I hope you have found some inspiration. Somebody in your life has inspired you or motivated you. And in this world of technology, it ain't nothing but a Google search away, right? There are tons of models of people that live these inspired lives, or have gone through pain and expressed it in ways that have brought beauty to others, or shown you a way to express it in a way that can be relief or an outlet, so that you can have a better life. That's what the championship culture is about, a better life. You can attain that through achievement, through a growth mindset, and the better life is the next moment. The better life is, the ability to defeat anxiety and depression. And I'll kind of leave you with this. You always see that analogy of David and Goliath. That's the big, sports analogy. We're going to this big game. We're gonna defeat Goliath. I've used it, and I'll tell you the understanding that I got from using it within the span of a couple weeks. We were making our run in the playoffs, and I use this analogy for this team. We're David and Goliath, and really about preparation, and David playing the game his way. So if you know the story of David and Goliath, he's like, I can beat him. Everybody else is putting their head I'm not fighting Goliath. Are you kidding me? See that dude out there? And David, with confidence, says, I can beat him. And everybody now is a coach. Now everybody's a critic, and this is why you gotta always question the critic. I don't really like to critique myself in the moment. I like to have confidence with my preparation. I'll learn with an open mind after the event. But everybody's a critic. You really got to catch yourself. David's like, I can beat him. Everybody's like, all right, well, put on this helmet, take this shield, take my sword, and he starts to weigh himself down, and he's like, you know what, guys, I can beat him, but I got to do it my way. So he throws down the sword, takes off the helmet, the shield, takes off the armor so that he can move, and he picks up his sling and his rock as he goes off to fight Goliath. And what does everybody think about him? They think he's a fool. Their lack of creativity and imagination has them critiquing David, the King of Kings, the fool, who was taking his sling to go fight Goliath. So that was my message to my team. We know why we're confident. We know why we are going to win. We have seen this in our imaginations first. We were creative on what we were going to do to exploit weaknesses and enhance strengths. We developed our skills, and we're going to bring them to bear. And we are going to express ourselves. And whoa, was that win very artful to watch. And then we go into the next week, and I'm contemplating this idea of David and Goliath. Every team is not Goliath. So the story, right? He takes the sling, knocks out the giant, slays him, and becomes the king. And enjoys the rewards of that event. Doesn't say that David's life was without turmoil after that. It wasn't. That's the wrestling match. You can have success, but the very next step is going to be met with obstacle and opposition. So I really started to understand that this creativity, this imagination, it's something that when you're thinking about who Goliath is, what is this obstacle, why is creativity important? Because it allows you confidence no matter what the obstacle. So the opponent is a Goliath. The team is a Goliath. The game is Goliath. The game is the obstacle. Can you master the game using your skills? Can you master life using your skills creatively? That is the message. So, when you do that, there are no more giants. David didn't care that Goliath was 7 feet tall. He grabbed his sling and slayed him with confidence and developed that on that skill on the farm, knocking, targets off of a post, right? I can bring those skills to this game. I can take what I know and bring it to this set of realities. I can show you what I see in my mind and express it out to you for you to understand or not understand and explore in your own world. But we've shared something. We've shared something that's elevated you and I through your creativity, through your pursuit of art. For me, that really hit me in as a writer's bug. I got the writer's bug, and I just have spent so much time watching movies and reading books, and have through my own development as an illustrator, and when I was young, I would draw comics and read comics and write comics. And I just decided to just learn and do. So I learned from writers the process of how they, generated ideas, brainstormed and developed characters, developed stories and worlds. And I did it. I went through a step-by-step process and wrote my first novel. And it was exhilarating. It was enthralling I couldn't wait to get off of work and either get to my phone and write, through the app, the Google Docs through the phone, which is a great strategy if you're a writer. You have so much technology and it's, kind of easy to write on your phone because you do it so much. Or to get in front of my computer and write. I just, once the story started, I just had to finish. Kind of like when I draw and I can't stop until I've finished all the elements and I can look back and say it's done. To be able to do that with a novel for the first time and to have people read it and give me feedback, it's like checking things off your bucket list. There's just a fulfillment in it that, nobody can take away from you. You reach a level of accomplishment and nobody can take it away from you. Michael Jordan didn't have to win another ring. He's still living. He doesn't have to win again. He does not have to win another NBA championship for him to be the greatest. You can analyze, levels of greatness and talk about other great players, but you cannot take away what he did. Some of these great artists and artistry and the way people live their lives is the same way. Some people live their lives as an art. I'm not sure if Martin Luther King drew or danced or sung, but the way he spoke was an art. The impact he left was an art. And so many others that, they figured something out. They expressed it genuinely and authentically. And you can have a different medium. You might draw, you might paint, you might dance, you might sketch or cartoon. All different mediums, but you're still expressing feelings, realities, emotions. You're telling them a story. You're conveying a message. And you have the ability, and I'm telling you, you have the duty to express your art in this world. Leave it for others. Show people what you know. Show people what you can do. Inspire others to get over that hump of doubt for themselves, and you got to do it first. Imagination and creativity are the things that are needed more of, not less of. They take it out of the schools. They take it out of the programming. You know, it's TikTok, 7 seconds, and you better tell your story. Well, I'm here to tell you to bring the traditions of artistry and acceptance back into the world. Okay, that's part of the championship culture. That's your homework. Get creative, learn a skill, express it artistically, and be great. See you next time, Championship Culture. Get in the chat, ask questions. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Be your best self. Be a champion.